Before we start, I want you to hit that red subscribe button so that you never miss out on any of our videos. Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to Screen Cinema. Here are world leaders' reactions to horrifying scenes in Washington. United States allies and world leaders globally watched in horror at the scene unfolding in Washington, D.C. yesterday as a violent pro-Trump mob stormed the United States Capitol building as Congress was set to certify the results of the presidential election, in a brazen attempt to overturn President-elect Joe Biden's win over Donald Trump. 4 people died in the deadly incident, with at least 14 police officers injured and 52 arrests so far. The U.S., usually a leader in condemning political violence worldwide, became the subject of horror and condemnation. Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. Israel's Prime Minister, a staunch Trump ally, said the rampage at the Capitol yesterday was a disgraceful act that must be vigorously condemned, at a meeting with the U.S. Treasury Secretary Steven Mnuchin. I have no doubt that the American democracy will prevail, he added. It always has. 2 of the United States' oldest allies, Britain and France, issued blistering condemnations of the horrific scenes.
We'll take whatever action is necessary to prevent Iran from acquiring.
UK Prime Minister Boris Johnson. Disgraceful scenes in US Congress. UK Prime Minister Boris Johnson wrote on Twitter, "The United States stand for democracy around the world, and it is now vital that there should be peaceful and orderly transfer of power.
And to provide care for vulnerable people or as a volunteer. I'm afraid non-essential shops, leisure and..."
France's President Emmanuel Macron. In a video, France's President Emmanuel Macron said, "France stands strongly, fervently, and resolutely with the American people and will all the people who want to choose their leaders determine their own destinies and their own lives through free and democratic elections, and we will not yield to the violence of a few individuals who want to challenge that." Macron condemned the actions of the protesters as undermining democracy, when in one of the world's oldest democracies, supporters of an outgoing president take up arms to challenge the legitimate results of an election. That one idea, that of one person, one vote, is undermined. German Chancellor Angela Merkel, an outspoken critic of Trump, said the scenes of violence made her furious and also sad. "I'm quite sure I feel like most friends of the United States, like millions of people who admire America's democratic tradition," she added, "and I regret very much that President Trump since November has not conceded his defeat, and not yesterday either." German President Frank-Walter Steinmeier added, "These scenes are the results of lies and more lies, of a political split and contempt for democracy." Canada's Prime Minister Justin Trudeau wrote on Twitter that Canadians are deeply disturbed and saddened by the attack on democracy in the United States, our closest ally and neighbor. "Violence will never succeed in overruling the will of the people. Democracy in the U.S. must be upheld, and it will be," he added. NATO Secretary General Jens Stoltenberg condemned the shocking scenes at the Capitol, adding that the outcome of the democratic election must be respected.
Le Covid-19 a bouleversé nos vies, nos sociétés, a mis nos économies.
Scotland's First Minister. Scotland's First Minister Nicola Sturgeon wrote, "The scenes from the Capitol are utterly horrifying, offering solidarity to Americans on the side of democracy and the peaceful and constitutional transfer of power. Shame on those who have incited this attack on democracy," she condemned.
No, but it's not, we are not allowing...
Italy's Prime Minister. Italy's Prime Minister Giuseppe Conte wrote, "Violence is incompatible with the exercise of democratic rights and freedoms. I am confident in the strength and robustness of the institutions of the United States." Norway's Prime Minister Erna Solberg wrote, "This is totally unacceptable attack on democracy," before noting that Trump has a heavy responsibility to put a stop to this.
Da evitare su tutto il territorio della penisola gli spostamenti, a meno che non siano motivati.
India's Prime Minister. India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi wrote, "Distressed to see news about rioting and violence in Washington, D.C. Orderly and peaceful transfer of power must continue. The democratic process cannot be allowed to be subverted through unlawful protests."
घर, टॉयलेट, बिजली, पानी.
Konstantin Kosachev, head of the Foreign Affairs Committee in Russia. America's democracy is obviously limping on both feet. Konstantin Kosachev, head of the Foreign Affairs Committee in Russia's upper house of parliament, said, in a blistering rebuke to the United States' status on the world stage, "This alliance is actually at the bottom. I say this without a shadow of gloating. America no longer charts a course and therefore has lost all rights to set it, and even more so to impose it on others."
Better international cooperation in order to study experiences, to understand.
New Zealand Prime Minister. New Zealand Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern wrote, "I share the sentiment of friends in the US, what is happening is wrong. Democracy, the right of the people to exercise a vote, have their voice heard and then the decision upheld peacefully should never be done by a mob." Ardern added, "Our thoughts are with everyone who is devastated as we are by the events of today. I have no doubt democracy will prevail."
And to those amongst you who may not have supported Labour before,
But this brings us to the end of our video. I hope you enjoyed it. Hit like if you did, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel so you don't miss out on any of our videos in the future. Also, watch the 2 videos that are on your screen, because I'm sure you'll love them. And with that, I'll see you in the next video.